It took 8 years of marriage before Elena finally agreed to go on a honeymoon with me. We decided to go during the holidays, a trip I had meticulously planned down to the last detail. However, as we were standing at the gate about to board the plane, what was supposed to be a romantic getaway for two suddenly morphed into a party of 3. Gavin was there, luggage in hand, ready to join us to watch the Northern Lights in Norway. Elena looked at me, her expression daring me to object. "It's also Gavin's wish," she said, her voice carrying a tone that suggested I was being unreasonable. "He's got cancer, Mark. You shouldn't be jealous of a sick person." I stood there, stunned. I had waited 8 long years for this. I had worked non-stop for 2 weeks straight, pulling overtime and exhausting myself just to clear my schedule and extend my vacation time. But in that moment, looking at the two of them standing together, the desire to go on this trip evaporated completely. I suddenly didn't want to go anymore. I turned around to leave. Elena reached out and stopped me, her grip firm on my arm. "If you're not going," she said, her voice dropping to a practical whisper, "can you at least go to the counter and get a refund on your ticket? It was quite pricey." I looked at her, forcing a smile onto my face despite the hollowness in my chest. "Sure," I said. I walked away, leaving this precious holiday for the two of them to enjoy back home, or wherever they pleased. I didn't go to the counter. Instead, I pulled out my phone and called my boss, Mr. Henderson. I knew there was an overseas assignment available, one I had previously turned down to save my marriage. "Is that overseas assignment still available?" I asked. Outside the airport, the golden sunset was bathing my face in warm light, but I felt cold. I struggled to keep my voice steady. There was a silence on the other end of the line. Finally, Mr. Henderson responded, confusion evident in his tone. "You said you didn't want to leave Elena and move so far away. Why the sudden change?" The heaviness that had been lodging in my throat for the last hour suddenly vanished. "I'm preparing for a divorce," I stated simply. "Can I still get that slot?" Sensing my change of heart was genuine, Mr. Henderson couldn't hide the excitement in his voice. "I've always wanted to give you this opportunity, Mark. Now that you're asking for it, I'm more than happy to offer it to you." After hanging up, I crouched by the roadside curb, burying my head in my hands. I felt like I had lost my soul back inside that terminal. Images of Elena holding onto Gavin's arm and walking through the check-in gate replayed in my mind like a scene from a movie I couldn't turn off. It felt like a sharp dagger was stabbing my heart repeatedly, leaving it bleeding out on the pavement. For 8 years, I had longed to see the Northern Lights with her. I spent a month planning this trip, researching hotels and tours. I worked tirelessly just to secure this extended 10-day leave. But now, everything I had prepared for was someone else's gain. Suddenly, my phone rang in my hand. It was a call from Elena. I answered it, but before I could even speak, Gavin's voice came through the speaker. "This is your honeymoon, Elena," he said, sounding weak but clearly audible. "Are you sure it's okay to leave Mark behind and take me instead? Aren't you afraid he'll get upset?" Elena's gentle voice followed immediately. "Don't worry about him. Right now, I'm more concerned about you than him." Then I heard Gavin sigh heavily. "I'm really scared that one day I'll suddenly leave this world. What would you do then? At least you still have Mark by your side. He's a lot like me, isn't he? A very suitable replacement. That way, even if I'm gone, I can rest easy." The line went silent for a moment, replaced only by heavy breathing and a sticky, uncomfortable sensation. Then Elena spoke again, her voice fierce. "Gavin, I don't allow you to say things like that. No one can replace you. I only want you with me. Why were you so foolish back then? You were afraid of dragging me down, so you married someone else. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't have married Mark. We wouldn't have lost 8 whole years." My mind went blank. A high-pitched, buzzing sound filled my ears, drowning out the traffic of the airport pickup lane. I couldn't hear anything else. My chest ached with a physical pressure, and I instinctively placed a hand over my heart, trying to ease the pain. As I looked down at my hand, I saw the wedding ring on my right hand's ring finger. It was too tight. It had always been too tight. The ill-fitting band had left a deep red mark on my skin. 8 years ago, at Gavin's wedding, Elena had proposed to me in front of everyone. I was stunned at the time, as if a heavy blow had hit my head, making my mind go blank. I was unable to react properly. She slipped an ill-fitting diamond ring onto my finger, and the pain made me reflexively pull my hand back. But when I saw her tear-stained eyes, my heart softened. She was Elena, the girl I had a crush on for 7 years. Despite the ring being the wrong size, I was determined to wear it, even if it had to carve into my flesh. I had gritted my teeth, forcing the ring onto my finger, tears streaming down my face from the pain. Elena had gently wiped away my tears. At that moment, I felt like the happiest person in the world. Now, looking at this wedding ring, all I felt was confinement. It hurt so much. I hailed a cab and went straight to the nearest fire station, asking the firefighters to help me take it off. The firefighter on duty looked at the ring and felt uneasy holding the cutting tool. "This ring looks expensive," he said. "Why not consider another way to remove it? Using lubricant or string? Cutting it seems like a waste." I shook my head firmly. Cut it. Things that don't fit should be discarded in time. The same moment the ring was snapped and removed. A numbness spread through my finger, and then I felt lighter than ever before. The firefighter handed me the broken ring. The letters G and E, engraved inside, reflected in the bright overhead light, mocking me. Gavin and Elena. Not Mark. In that instant, I felt drained, unable to even hold on to the piece of metal. I had thought that Elena had moved on from Gavin entirely when she proposed to me at his wedding. For 8 years, I looked forward to our marriage, giving my all to build our home. Elena had lost both of her parents early on and grew up alone. I sympathized with her, meticulously caring for her feelings. When she wanted to start a business, without hesitation, I sold the house my grandfather left me to support her. For 8 years, I stood by her through thick and thin. But after all this time, I was just a stand-in for Gavin. The marriage I cherished ended up being a self-deceptive joke. Now, I decided to let go of both Elena and myself. As I was leaving the fire station, my phone buzzed quietly. It was a short video sent by Elena. In the video, Gavin was looking pale, leaning heavily on Elena's shoulder. He was wrapped in the blanket I had bought for her. The soft, warm fabric was snug around Gavin, and even the corners around his neck were tucked in tight. It was clear Gavin was being taken care of with immense tenderness. I remembered a couple of days ago when I was laid out in bed, feverish and wanting a sip of hot water. I had woken Elena, only for her to angrily grab her pillow and get up. "I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight," she had snapped. "I don't want to catch what you have, and you're only sick, not immobile. Get your own water and quit being dramatic." I had thought back then that Elena was just inherently cold and didn't know how to care for people. Now I realized it wasn't that she couldn't. She just didn't want to take care of me. The difference between love and indifference is so obvious. Yet here I was, having lied to myself for years, dreaming that Elena might just once treat me with warmth. 8 years, and I was still waiting. While I was lost in thought, Elena sent a long voice message. I played it. She was trying to keep her voice low, seemingly not wanting to wake Gavin, who must have been next to her. "Mark, I know I was wrong about this. I shouldn't have brought Gavin along without asking you first. I was scared you'd say no, so I just bought him a ticket. Gavin has cancer. He doesn't have much time left. Seeing the northern lights is his dying wish. I don't want him to leave with regrets. You have plenty of time. If you want to go again in the future, I'll go with you. Please just let this slide for someone who is about to leave us, okay?" Every word cut like a knife, tearing me apart. How could she manage to keep up with Gavin while faking affection with me? 2 years ago, Gavin was diagnosed with cancer. He was divorced and lay in the hospital, awaiting death alone. Elena dropped everything to go care for him. She even sold all her shares in her company to pay for Gavin's treatment. Sadly, the kidney he received was rejected, and they had to wait for another. Meanwhile, Elena's money was running out. Pressured, she took a job at a small company to save enough for Gavin's continued treatment. I had fought with her and cried about it, but seeing Elena so weary softened me. With a hoarse voice, she had said, "Gavin is really pitiful. Like me, he lost his parents. Then his wife left him, and now he has cancer. If I don't help him, he'll only be waiting to die. We grew up together. I can't abandon someone who's almost gone. Do you want your wife to be cold and heartless? Don't worry, I don't have any feelings for him. I just see him as a brother. Once this is over, I'll make it up to you." So I reluctantly agreed to let Elena care for Gavin. I underestimated their bond. I thought after 8 years beside Elena, I'd be important to her. Now I see that all those years meant nothing to her compared to a fleeting moment with Gavin. Every time he appears, even if he does nothing, I lose. My hands shook as I typed out words in our chat box, then deleted them, before finally sending a simple message. "Let's get a divorce." The chat continued to show, "Elena is typing." But no reply came. Exhausted, I bought a train ticket to my parents' house. I had 10 days off to spend with family before heading abroad. Coming back here wouldn't be easy once I left. On the train, as I tried to relax, Elena called. I accepted the call. It wasn't Elena. Gavin's voice, sobbing, came through the line. "Mark, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. If I hadn't wanted to see the northern lights before dying and ruining your plans, you wouldn't be getting divorced. I should have just died sooner." Before I could speak, Gavin grew more emotional. "You've misunderstood Elena. She just couldn't let me die in the hospital alone. We grew up together. If there was something between us, we'd have been married long ago. How would it even be your turn? She only sees me as a brother. You're reading too much into it." Listening to his fake, provoking words, I couldn't hold back. I chuckled cynically. "A brother? I'm really confused now. You used the facade of a brother to be intimate with Elena. Those hickeys on her neck. You left them to claim your territory, didn't you? Don't think I'm unaware of you playing innocent now." One rainy night a few weeks ago, Gavin had cut his finger at home, and Elena rushed out in the storm to help him. They crossed that final line. Afterward, I saw the marks Gavin left on Elena and practically broke down. Before I could confront her, she told me she'd bought us tickets to Norway for a honeymoon trip. I didn't want to cause a scene. I thought if she sincerely took me to see the aurora, I'd give her another chance. But she shamelessly exploited my feelings, hurting me repeatedly. Between him and me, she'd always choose him. She didn't know that it was her last chance to hurt me. Understanding this made it easier to bear. Elena grabbed the phone from him, her voice shaky with guilt. "It's not like that. Let me explain." She thought she had hidden everything flawlessly, not realizing I knew all along. I didn't want to hear her useless explanations. I said, "Let's get a divorce. When you're back from Norway, we will sign the papers." "Don't be ridiculous, Mark," Elena replied, sounding both indifferent and impatient, like she was scolding a child throwing a tantrum. "You've got to give me a chance to explain. Don't use divorce just to scare me." For 8 years, I had gotten used to her cold tone, but now it grated on my nerves. I couldn't help but laugh. "Elena, we've been married for 8 years. Have you ever known me to use divorce as a threat?" Elena was silent for a while before she slowly asked, "Are you serious? You want to divorce me over something so trivial? I told you I could explain. Why won't you give me a chance? She pleaded. I was furious. Having fun with another man and you call that a small thing? How do you explain the hickeys all over you? Elena, you disgust me. Elena got defensive. I didn't think you'd be so sarcastic. Competing with someone who has cancer? It only happened once. Mark, from beginning to end, I love you enough. I struggled to keep my voice steady, afraid I might start crying from the sheer frustration. Stop trapping me with your deceitful love. 8 years. 8 whole years. Even a glacier would melt by now, right? I thought you were naturally cold and uncaring, but I later realized you only didn't care for me. Elena, it's so clear whether you love me or not. Don't take me for a fool. I chose to let go, and free you too. The moment I hung up, I felt relieved. I once believed Elena and I would never part as long as I loved her. I thought she wouldn't leave me. But now, her love had left me broken. I just couldn't love her anymore. When I got to my parents' home, they had prepared a big dinner. Mom looked at me, hesitant, then tentatively asked, "Aren't you supposed to be in Norway with Elena? What made you come back all of a sudden? Did something happen?" I took a bite of my food and decided to be direct. Mom, Dad, I'm planning to divorce Elena. Such simple words, but it took me 8 years to say them. We had been married for 8 years, and my parents always urged me to have a child, saying a child would make the family complete. I too wanted a child with Elena, but she always had various excuses, saying she wasn't ready to be a mom, or the work stress was too high. All these years, I had to comfort my parents and deal with the pressure of having a child. It was exhausting. Finally being able to say it without any burden didn't hurt, as I imagined it would. Mom sighed, gently patting my shoulder and softly soothing me. Don't carry too much weight in your heart. Whatever decision you make, your dad and I will support you. Nothing is more important than you being happy. We didn't raise you to suffer. We want you to live freely and happily, following your heart. Elena's betrayal didn't make me feel wronged, but Mom's comforting words made me cry. I hugged my mom, pouring out all the grievances and cold violence I endured from Elena in those 8 years. Instantly, all the pain and hardship disappeared under Mom's gentle touch. Exhausted from crying, I fell asleep right away. I even dreamt a bizarre dream. In the dream, I went back to the summer when I was 15. I had just transferred to Elena's school. Because of a birthmark on my face, my classmates teased me, making me sensitive and insecure. Once, a group blocked me outside school, mocking me. Elena, passing by, stood up for me. She scared them off and said, "If anyone dares to bully Mark again, they'll have to answer to me." The group ran away, and I hung my head, avoiding her gaze. Elena carefully picked up my bag, handing it to me. "Everyone's unique. There's no need to feel insecure because of a birthmark on your face. I think it's quite special, like a black angel." Her words were like a beacon, illuminating my previously dark and damp world. Later, I discovered Elena and Gavin were childhood friends. They seemed perfect for each other in both looks and grades. How could I, a newcomer, shake their bond? So I studied hard while sneakily watching their happiness. Years passed, and Gavin suddenly announced he would marry someone else. Elena didn't seem as upset as I expected. Instead, she proposed to me at Gavin's wedding. I asked her afterward, "Were you marrying me just to spite Gavin?" Elena softly kissed my birthmark. "Gavin and I have never been together. We're just childhood friends, not what you think. I'm marrying you because I like you." That day, I was too excited to even blink, worried that reality would change once I woke up. To be a beautiful groom to Elena, I endured painful laser treatments to remove the birthmark. Elena's eyes welled up, seeing my pain-drained face. Mark, I'll love you well in the future. I won't let you down for all you've done for me. And all of it felt like a vivid dream of youth, shattering like bubbles in the winds of growing up. When I opened my eyes, it was already noon. I heard a commotion outside. I stepped out to see Elena standing outside the door, looking dejected. Mom barred the way, refusing her entry. "Aren't you supposed to be in Norway with that man? Why are you back so soon?" Mom demanded. Elena lowered her head in shame. "Mom, let me talk to Mark. I have something to say. Things aren't what you think." "What's there to explain? The facts are clear. What more do you want to argue?" Dad said angrily. Elena visibly panicked. "I went with Gavin to see the Northern Lights because he has cancer and doesn't have much time left. I didn't think Mark would be that upset about it. I know I was wrong, and I apologized to him." Dad snorted, raising his voice. "Don't pretend with your apologies. We're not buying it. If you truly felt guilty, you wouldn't have done this in the first place. That person got cancer, no doubt. But there are many ways you can help. You could hire a caregiver or a nurse. No need to sacrifice yourself. What's your true intention? Who knows?" Elena's lips moved, but she couldn't say a word. Nearby neighbors were drawn by the commotion and gathered around to watch. My parents, being older, care a lot about appearances. I didn't want them to lose face in front of the neighbors, so I stepped out to end the spectacle. After calming my parents down, I took Elena to a cafe nearby. "Still an iced Americano?" Elena asked cautiously as we approached the counter. I pressed my lips together and ordered an orange juice. Honestly, I've never been a fan of coffee. That bitter taste is just weird to me. I prefer juice. Sadly, we've been married 8 years, Elena, and it seems like you've never cared about my preferences. Gavin likes coffee, right? Elena didn't deny it. She just nodded. I let out a sarcastic laugh. This marriage I treasured turns out to be a self-deceiving joke. I never expected that I've unknowingly been Gavin's stand-in for a whole 8 years. As soon as I said that, Elena grabbed my hand across the table, her fingers cold, her eyes showing an emotion I couldn't read. Was it guilt? Regret? "I know I did something to hurt you, but some things I must clarify face to face," she began. "It's not that I truly want to rekindle things with Gavin. I just can't let go of how he left me for someone else. We met in the orphanage when we were 10. He was my everything for so long. I thought we'd always be together. But then he broke his promise and married another. His sudden departure left me devastated, filled with hatred towards him. When I asked you to marry me, you asked if it was despite Gavin. Mark, I married you not to spite him, but because I genuinely liked you. Back in high school, you worried I wouldn't have enough to eat, and secretly put your lunch on my desk. You even bought me sneakers when I didn't have any for the sports event. Mark, I knew everything you did for me, but I was too cowardly to face my true feelings." She took a breath. "Now I'm going to take care of Gavin, not only to mend my own unresolved feelings, but to test if you truly love me and can't live without me. I'm afraid, like Gavin, you'll suddenly leave me too. That feeling of being abandoned is unbearable and I can't go through it again. Yes, my actions were extreme and I ignored your feelings, even causing you immense pain. But at the core, I still love you. Mark, can you believe me?" Listening to Elena, I felt nothing but the urge to laugh. I peeled her fingers away from mine, one by one. "Elena, at this point, what makes you think I'd still believe you? You claim no feelings towards him? Just resentment? Yet you let him in your bed, leaving marks on you even though you knew I'd see them, causing me pain? Over these 8 years, you have preserved all of Gavin's preferences and expected me to live accordingly. You have no idea I have stomach issues and can't eat spicy food. But to eat with you, I forced myself and suffered through pain that only medication could ease. Plus, my body isn't suited for baggy clothes. They highlight my flaws, making me look heavier. Everything you planned, I disliked. But for love, I forced myself to do so many things. I thought this self-sacrifice would earn a bit of your true heart. But in the end, even our wedding bands were engraved with Gavin's initials. With every word I spoke, Elena's face paled even further. Tears welled up abruptly in her eyes as she hoarsely whispered, "I'm sorry, Mark. Will you forgive me and give me another chance? Gavin's found a kidney donor, and the surgery is in a week. After that, I'll explain everything to him, cut ties, and go anywhere with you. Please." I shook my head, raising my voice suddenly. "In my shoes, could you forgive me, Elena? Reaching a point of not hating you is my limit." I pulled out the divorce papers I had prepared and put them in front of her. "You've sold your shares in the company and used all our savings for Gavin's treatment. I won't ask for the money back. Just one thing, let's part amicably and not drag each other down anymore." Elena shook, struggling to stand, her voice barely audible. "I won't divorce. Wait for me a week. Please." Tired of the never-ending cycle, I stood up to leave. "Elena, you disgust me." As I walked away, I heard her stifled sobbing. Fitting. After 8 years, it was her turn to cry for this relationship. Leaving the cafe, I received David's formal job offer letter via email. The start date was exactly a week away. Gavin's surgery is on the same day. Fate, I guess, handing me a new beginning on this very day. After explaining my future plans, my parents understood. "You've wasted so much of your youth on Elena," my dad said. "Now that you can drop everything and start anew, your mom and I support you." Before heading overseas for work, I needed to wrap things up here. I ended my leave early to avoid unnecessary encounters with Elena. I stayed at a hotel near the office, returning home only to pack. The place looked just as it did when I left a few days ago. Elena said she couldn't bear to lose me, yet she wouldn't even return to this memory-filled home. Her love, like herself, is cheap and laughable. I laid open the suitcase and stuffed it with my personal belongings. The place I've lived in for 8 years can have all my stuff packed into just one box. At first, Elena used to complain that I had filled our home so much it suffocated her. But now I realize it wasn't my belongings that suffocated her. It was me. Once everything was packed, I tossed our couple's toothbrushes into the trash. I had bought her an electric toothbrush during a business trip, but she never used it. She claimed she wasn't used to it, yet she kept replacing it with the electric toothbrush that Gavin gifted her. If she doesn't need what I bought, then it can all go. Towels, rinsing cups, the lot. Half an hour later, every trace of me was wiped clean from the house. Before leaving, I looked around the familiar home. A wave of inexplicable sadness hit me, and my eyes welled up. 8 years ago, Elena welcomed me brightly into this house. It was here on the sofa that I gave her myself. It was also here that she promised to be good to me. My stubborn love turned into a sharp blade, ultimately hurting only myself. During these days of transitioning at work, Elena kept sending roses. Every card read, "I'm sorry, Mark." The words felt incredibly ironic. In the past, whenever Elena messed up, she'd buy roses, write an apology card, and I'd forgive her without fail. So now she thought giving gifts is the surefire way to win my forgiveness. But she never knew what I truly liked. Without even a glance, I tossed them in the garbage, telling the delivery guy not to send them again. A colleague joked that wasting flowers wasn't necessary. They were so beautifully in bloom. Such a pity for the trash. I picked them back up from the bin and handed them over. The colleague hesitated, but said she intended to keep them. I shrugged it off. They're nice to look at. Why not? In the following days, Elena stopped with the flowers and started sending different kinds of congee for my stomach. She tried cooking for me for the first time. I remembered when my stomach hurt, and I craved a bowl of warm congee. She complained while ordering takeout instead. I had wanted her homemade cooking, but she looked annoyed and said, "I don't know how to make that. Plus, takeout tastes better. Stop being picky." But I recalled how in high school, Elena made congee for Gavin and fed him patiently. I waited 8 years for this meal, but now I didn't feel like having it at all. I passed it to a coworker instead. Then I texted her, "Stop doing these self-soothing gestures. They only make me look down on you more. Delayed affection is cheaper than weeds." With one day before moving abroad, all my work here was sorted. Lying in the hotel, aimlessly scrolling on my phone, Gavin called. He said he wanted to see me before his surgery, no matter what. After some hesitation, I went. He used to be sharp-eyed, proudly aloof. Now, lying in bed, he was a shadow of his former self with hollow eyes, weary and exhausted. That once bright young man now blended with the ordinary. I walked to his side, sitting down slowly. His eyes fell on the fruit basket I brought. "Thoughtful of you. These are all my favorites," he commented. I gave a small smile. "You must feel smug having me as your substitute." Gavin cracked a feeble grin, his voice weak. "I'm sorry we hurt you." I went in wanting to unleash my rage, but suddenly it all seemed pointless. I just didn't have anything left to say. Gavin continued. "What went on with Elena and me was just a side note. Can you let it go, act like none of this happened, and go back to her? I'm just about to undergo surgery. Can't you ease up on someone who's about to go under the knife?" I never thought he'd have the audacity to speak like this. It put a smile of disbelief on my face. "Am I part of some little game for you too? Why drag me into your sob story? You didn't seriously call me here just to ask me to stick with Elena, did you? If your surgery is successful without any rejection, then what? Will you want me to hand Elena back to you? Do you take me for a fool?" Gavin's eyes widened in shock. Maybe he hadn't expected me to respond that way. Back in the day, my love for Elena was all-consuming. I'd sacrifice even my dignity for her. But now the blinders have come off. She's just like anyone else to me. My heart remains unmoved. He looked sheepish, not daring to maintain eye contact. "No, it's not like that." I waved him off mid-sentence. "I've seen through you from the start. You intentionally left traces on Elena, then wanted to see the Aurora together, followed by making sure I overheard you two. All of it just so I'd be disheartened enough to leave Elena. Honestly, I should thank you. Without you, who knows how long I'd be duped by that fraud. Thanks for the trash collection." With that, I turned to leave. Gavin called after me. "Do you really not regret divorcing Elena?" I grinned faintly. "Rest easy. I don't go back to leftovers." "Tomorrow I leave," I added. "And when I've got time, I'll handle the divorce papers with Elena." Gavin stared at me, incredulous. 8 years, and you're really letting go just like that? Can you bear it?" I turned, looking him square in the eyes. "I lost some trash that didn't love me. What's there to miss? I should have done this ages ago." And with those words, Elena appeared before me in the doorway, her figure frail. Her lips quivered, eyes reddened. "Mark, is there really no hope for us?" I nodded. "Elena, you know I have a thing for cleanliness. I don't share partners." She swayed, struggling to stay on her feet, her face soaked in sorrow. Suddenly, a wicked idea popped into my head. "You keep saying you don't want to leave me. You can ditch Gavin right now and come to the airport to see me tomorrow. Then I won't leave. Can you do that?" For a moment, Elena seemed out of it. Then tears rolled down her cheeks. She begged me to, "Mark, please don't go. Wait for me, okay?" Even though I already knew her answer, she wouldn't leave him before the surgery. Hearing it from her brought me a feeling of relief. I guess I was really over it. I let out a cold laugh and walked right past Elena. She didn't come after me. The next day, I got on a plane to Country A. Elena sent me a picture from outside a surgery room. On the third day, she pleaded, "Please wait a little longer for me." I coldly blocked her on everything. Living in Country A kept me busy and fulfilled. Life was pretty amazing, but all of that was momentarily interrupted when Elena showed up months later. She was skinnier than before and looked really exhausted. I never thought she would come all the way across the ocean to find me. She held me tightly when she saw me. "Mark, I finally found you. I really missed you. Ever since last time I couldn't reach you. I almost went crazy looking for you." I pushed Elena away hard, still speaking coldly. "You came here? What about Gavin?" She looked down. "His surgery went well. He's recovering fine. He's doing okay now." I smiled. "Well, congratulations. You two can be together forever. Are you planning the divorce now? Can the spot still go to me? So you tossed me aside again and chose him." I cruelly pointed it out. Elena broke down in tears. "I regret it, Mark. I really do. After you left, I realized I can't live without you. My life's full of your memories. I'm losing my mind without you." I gave a cold laugh. "You don't miss me. You miss the assistant who took great care of everything for you. Elena, don't come back. If we're talking about the divorce, I can calmly discuss it, but nothing else. I really can't stand you." Elena stood there stunned. After a long while, when the wind picked up and it got a bit chilly, she finally turned and left, hunched over. 2 years later, I went back home and smoothly got the divorce papers finalized with Elena. She and Gavin never ended up together either. I didn't keep up with their news. Instead, I left again and focused on my work. My career in Country A got better and better. I love being this hard-working version of myself. Whenever you want to start fresh, it's never too late.